in this sector is that at the end of the day, either if we fail or either if we succeed, we were going to try to help people. So
well, hi everyone, this is Nishant. I'm the founder and CEO of Urias, and I'm also your host for this podcast that is being brought to you by Royal Academy of Engineering.
So today on this episode, I have a really amazing person joining me who is coming all the way from Mexico. His name is Enrique, and I let him introduce himself and the work that he's doing with his company. Enrique, welcome to the podcast.
thank you very much, Nishant, for inviting me and for creating this amazing project for the LIF community. I am Enrique Hernandez. I am co-founder and CEO of Termi, a Mexican health tech company with the mission of saving lives from breast cancer. I am a bionic engineer from the National Polytechnic Institute here in Mexico, and I've been like entrepreneurs since I left or I graduated from high school, from university. Sorry. So yeah, it's been a long journey, and I'm really happy to share what I have learned through the path of entrepreneurship here in Mexico.
Amazing, amazing. Glad to know that, Enrique. So before we, go deeper into the conversation, I think the work that you are doing, with Thermi and, I mean, talking about any research that has to do with cancer is uh, the most required thing in this world. So before we go deeper into conversation, can you tell us a little bit in terms of how you actually got to Thermi, how you got to this idea, and then how did you, plan that this is exactly what you're going to be focusing on?
Yeah, so as an engineer here in Mexico, as graduate, you have like little options about your like work life. Either you work for a big company from the United States or from Mexico, or maybe you like go and do some more technical stuff like maintenance and reparation. So there is no middle ground, or there wasn't any. So me and my friends decided to start a company from the ground because we believe that we could create technology. We could create new solutions. And yeah, many of my co-founders have the idea of creating medical devices. And it was like kind of sad to know that one of the biggest problems that we had here in Mexico was, and I believe that most of the world, is cancer. Many of my co-founders have experience close with this disease from close families, and also myself. I know very close friends that have suffered this disease, and so we decided to make something about it, and we started the research, how we can help, and it came like a brainstorming. So we came with the idea of using less harmful technology, because one of the biggest problems of any like cancer diagnosis is like really doing it without harming the patient. So and also we realized that one of the biggest problems that we had here in Mexico was the growing mortality in breast cancer. And me, as the only man in my family of sisters, I was really worried about them. I always worry about them. It's kind of my work as the big brother. So we started looking for the main causes of this growing problem of breast cancer. And we realized that it was mainly caused of the lack of equipment for our big populations. Like here in Mexico, we have over 120 million inhabitants. More than 60 millions are women, and more than 42 million of them need this kind of screening every year. And we don't have enough machines. We only have like 300 all around the country in public places. And it was really a matter of not enough machinery. and also not enough medical specialists to interpret these images that the machine produces. So these two factors were key in like not reaching the same levels as other countries in terms of screening and really early detection. And also we realized or we discovered that many women doesn't tend to their yearly tests because they are afraid of the technique. Is painful sometimes for them because the machine needs to squeeze, literally squeeze the breast of the patient, and it's a painful process. So they don't come to that kind of test until they have felt something. And more often than not, it's like a already big tumor. So it was like a big growing problem, and also we realized that we could help like using our background. We know a lot of medical image processing, a lot of AI from my career as a bionic engineer, and also we came up with the infrared thermal technology that could allow us to measure the surface temperature of the body and assess if there is something wrong. So it's a good opportunity to use a not harmful technology and to use it to help people that need this kind of studies. So we started with the idea in 2016 with a very different idea, and I think that is one of the like I don't know, perks of being entrepreneur. You could start with something very different of where you are end up as a final product. So we started with an app. We wanted to develop an app so each like young women could like screen themselves and see if something was wrong, like using these small cameras that you could attach to your phone. So we like chatted with the manufacturer of the cameras, and they told us, okay, it's a great idea. We are not yet there in terms of like sensitivity of our sensors. The small ones couldn't offer you like the measurement you need to detect this kind of changes in temperature for assessing like the health of a patient. But we have bigger ones, bigger cameras that you could use, that you could test. So that started the journey more or less back in 2016, changing the idea of like completely. And yeah, like starting these alliances with the manufacturers so we could test and start the technology. So more or less was how we end up here. It's been 6 years since that first moment, and now we have a validated medical device that is helping physicians and institutions to really detect like cancer in early stages. We can offer our services to women as of 18 years old instead to waiting until they have 40 or 50. And it's a very portable like system. We have been moving around all the country from like peninsula to peninsula here in Mexico. And yeah, the patients are really happy to have this like new technology so they could start early screening like at younger ages and without any fear of the pain. So yeah, it's amazing. We still have a lot to learn, but yeah, we are starting now like the most challenging part, that is the business operation, like literally offering our services, getting some traction, and yeah, like more or less is what we are doing now, Nishan.
Pretty amazing, Enrique. I mean, you guys are 6 years young, so there's a lot to be done. So if I specifically ask about this time, that you took, which was 6 years, which is huge, and I think in the segment you're in, which is medtech, highly regulated, there's not much scope of failure. So, what are the key challenges that you faced being in this industry, being, let's say, even in Mexico, uh, uh, along with the industry, and targeting a, a solution for women? So, there are three parts to my question. I mean, we can go deep. So, the first one is like the kind of key challenges within medtech that you realized.
Yeah, of course. It's been a challenging process. We didn't understand it at the beginning, to be honest. We really wanted to be like those big companies in Silicon Valley back in 2015 when we kind of like started the idea. We thought that will be more easy or easier. But yeah, the first thing to realize is that in health tech is gonna be a long journey. We were in some like teaching courses and certification from like a university here in order to understand those process, and they told us the average time for a health tech company in Mexico and overall in the world is 6 years to develop and to really produce a product. And we were just in the middle. We had 3 years working on Termi, and we really wanted to deliver already a product. So we like we were shocked about hearing this, and but it's like realize that is the time you really need, because as you mentioned, this is a very regulated sector. You need to be validated not only for your customer but also what all the stakeholders that like take part of this process. The regulation authority, you need to pass some like process of regulation or good practices for manufacture of your device or your software even. And also you need to have the trust for the medical community, so you need to have clinical trials. You need to really like validate and demonstrate that you can really help instead of harming people. It's not like a gaming app when like you have bugs and people get mad because they cannot like do something in their game. It's not that easy. Here you are dealing with life, with the like actual uh, people health. So it's very important to be sure that you are like offering a service or a product that is really helping. So this was like a long process, and to really understand how long what it was going to be was the really big step. And sometimes it was like the team was doubting, like we are ready for this, we are really like ready to withstand like 6 years of not like earning almost any money. But also a big like how to call it, um insight or another thing that we learn is that if you work in those kind of technologies, a lot of people it's going to try to help you, like offering funding, offering you to make the clinical trials in the hospital. And yeah, since you are like in this more impactful projects, people is going to be more like open to help you. So that's other thing that really like encourages to continue in this sector, is that at the end of the day, either if we fail or either if we succeed, we were going to try to help people. So getting like others to help us and to really understand this kind of like effort we were doing was amazing, and still is amazing. A lot of people is helping us to grow and to understand and to learn how to create a company in this sector. So yeah, it was challenging. And yeah, I believe that the other motivator thing here is that health is a really like uh, how to call it, you cannot um, like put a price on your health. Like is like uh, something that until you lose it, you really get to see the value of you, or like taking care of your health. And with the pandemic, it only came more real that we are not like the super humanity society that we believe that we were, but we still need a lot of like improvement. And in this kind of growing like population, countries like Mexico and almost anyone in the world, anywhere in the world, the countries are getting bigger and the resources are getting scarce. So getting these services like really accessible for people is a big challenge. So there is a room for a lot of improvement, a lot of innovation in the health tech sector. So it's only natural that us engineers like came up with ideas to implement here and there, and there is a lot of process in between diagnosis, treatment, monitoring, and yeah. So it's only natural to get interested in this kind of sector. So more or less is what driven us to really came here in the health sector, and most of the challenge that we have been facing in the last 6 years.
Wow, tremendous. And moving from challenges of running and starting a business to what is challenge of placing it out there and getting it accepted within the masses. Because your solution specifically deals with breast cancer. So how exactly the mindset of women, play into this entire process, and what changes are you seeing since the time when you started 6 years ago and now, with both your technologies and overall understanding and awareness within women?
Yeah, I think that we are living a very interesting times in terms of women empowerment, and it was long coming and it was needed to really see that as, uh, as humanity or as many countries, we didn't like realize how important the women are for the society. Many countries like Mexico are kind of like men-centered. So all the problems were like trying to solve for the men and not for the women. So that's one of the very first thing that we realized, that we could help like the people we most like we care the most, or mothers or sisters or friends or loved ones. And yeah, I believe that it has been a good change, or a change for the good, because back then, and we have learned a lot of histories of like women, mothers, like heads of family that kept a secret that they were ill until they were very, very sickly. So they don't want to harm like the family economy. They don't want to be a burden for the family. So they don't tend themselves until it's very late. But that has been changing. There's been a change of mindset on the importance of being a woman, and the rights that they have. So more often we're seeing younger and younger women that are caring about their health, and that's amazing. For example, we have been women less than 40 years old. That is the overall here in Mexico like standard for starting the mammography screening for breast cancer. So younger and younger women are looking for alternatives because they want to be healthy. They want to be to live a long life because they have no careers. They are very important for their families and for their economies. And yeah, it's only natural that you keep an eye on your health so you can be like more productive and yeah, overall enjoy your life without any like kind of fear. And yeah, it's kind of like difficult because it's a disease, breast cancer, that affects mostly women, and only 1% of the cases are for men. So it's a more like harmful disease for women. And I don't know, it's my personal opinion that maybe that's the cause, or maybe that's why we didn't have enough like technology or put more efforts. Mammography has been around like forever, over 50 years ago. and we haven't changed a lot of it. So it was important to make those changes because the overall culture of the women is changing. Back then, we like, I believe is also my opinion, that it was less harmful to squeeze the women breast to see if there was something, that really look for alternatives that were more comfortable for them. So it's amazing these changes we're living, and yeah, women are like more interested in their health, and for younger ages. And also, it's a thing that we are starting to implement here in Termi, to hire more talent in the like STEM sector, because yeah, sadly, most of my team is men, because most of my like colleagues and classmates in the university in engineering were men. But that also is changing. More and more women are like very talented engineers, and we are looking for them to implement and to hire them in our company. And also, all our like medic personnel is women, nurses, medical doctors, physicians are women, and we are focusing that only women could use our systems, could operate them, because it's more comfortable also for the patient. So yeah, it's very interesting moment to create companies around femtech, and we are really like honored that we are part of this movement. And yeah, looking forward to also like show that in our team, to really have more women around, and to get to have their talent and their different point of view.
Right. No, this is really amazing. I think we need diverse teams all around, and you're absolutely right. More the point of view, more diverse the point of view, the better the output and the suggestions can be. So that is definitely a take that every one of us can take out from this point. So, Enrique, now that we are on to team, I would like to understand, how you got to, meet your co-founder and, and set up this entire team, and how did you kept the entire team and yourself motivated for 6 years to get to this point where now you can basically push harder and bring the product out.
Yeah, I believe that it's kind of a cliche that the most important thing of every startup is the team, but yeah, it's really true. And here I kind of I'm between, or I always argue with the main kind of like theory about team building, because one of the key like things that I told you is, don't hire your friends. It's like most, or like, it's like a standard that it's not well seen that the founders are friends. And let me go back to the start. So when I finished the career, I was like really just finishing my like final test, and showing my thesis to my evaluators, when one of my like friends from the past, to get a little bit of context, I had started a startup company before like finishing the college. It was a drone company. We wanted to create the Mexican drone, and to build from zero like this kind of new technologies back in 2012, more or less. But it failed. Like, we didn't have enough money or resources, and we were split between university and startup, so it didn't work. But one of my like team members from back then, he like continued in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And just when I was finishing my like my presentation from my final exam in the university, he called me. Oh, Enrique, I'm working here with this new idea, with this new project, and I really want you to help me, because I am like outside the country, but we have won a prize for this idea. And since you helped me in the past with the company, with the other startup, I really want you to help me because I want to build a team that is like good enough for the idea. So it was really amazing, like because I was doubting what to do after finishing the college. And so I saw the idea, I saw the opportunity that was Termi, that was already this idea of creating the app for the phones and using thermal cameras. So I really assessed the idea and I saw we need like a guy for marketing to create a presentation and to really push forward. We need one that really understands like the medical sector, how you can sell devices and what is expected for a medical device. Also, since we are applying like artificial intelligence and we really want to make an automated analysis and interpretation of the image, we need a software like genius here. And yeah, so I and that's with like the things that tricky. I browse between my closest friends and started checking which one of them is like brilliant in programming, which one of them is good like selling stuff. And yeah, it was fun because I had I have a lot of friends from the college, and yeah, you see a lot of characters there. One that is always like selling from like resistors and components for electronics for the practices and the tests, and the one that is like really good at programming and that is like also like the teachers really want him to help them in other projects and like do their social service there in the academy of like bionics and so on. So I started to contact those friends and tell them, here's the opportunity, here is what we have now, and surprisingly we had already money. So it's like very, very different for like the start of many companies. We have the idea have already won like some cash for starting. So the offer was that we have like that enough of cash, we could make more to continue the idea, but that's what we have now. Are you interested in participating? You have like some other things to do, or you are like willing to join? So it was my task to really like kind of look for this kind of friends, and yeah, it was really like challenging because many of them have other works. Like Pedro, one of my co-founders, was already working in the medical device sector. He was already selling and like making the training for how to operate the medical devices that the company where he worked like sold. So I told to him, and he told me, yes, I'm interested in the idea. Now I'm working, but let me see if I could like quit the work and maybe join later. So we started a company with 5 co-founders, four of them full time, and later Pedro renounced and quit his job and joined us. So yeah, and I believe that the key in like withstanding 6 years was that friendship, and it's when I like kind of like as I mentioned argue with the theory, because if you focus in the talent without knowing really the person, you don't know their needs, like personal needs, you don't know their actual like family environment or personality, and later in the like life of the startup that could go wrong. Maybe you realize that people doesn't match with the culture of the company, but in our case was different because we have already known each other for 5 years, so we kind of know what were our like pain points, where were our like good like abilities. So it was really, really like cool to have like friends working. And also it was like difficult to say no to other friends because they didn't match like the company. And that's where you have to be like smart and not hire like friends to have them with you to have a laugh, but really like search for people that is talented, but at the same time that you can trust and you know that you can count on them even in the worst part of the life of a company. Because yeah, we have a lot of years without winning any prizes or having any money to continue, so we needed to lever ourselves with the family and friends, and yeah, getting like part-time jobs sometimes. But yeah, I believe that it was the key that helped us withstand like these 6 years to really have know each other more before we started the company, and yeah, really have this talent already. And yeah, I believe that is like the key things that we have in Termi to really get ourselves known, and it's challenging for the friendship. Many times we argue, and many times we ended up in kind of bad terms. But at the end of the day, like we came around and see the failures of each other and ourselves, and really like the friendship. I believe that is the thing that help solve these kind of problems that is normal to have in a startup company.
Right. No, this was a pretty tremendous story, Enrique, and I can definitely relate to that. How people come together and then fallout happens, and it's actually no one's fault. It's everyone is trying to do things in their way, and maybe sometimes some people think that their way is the best way, and then all of us cannot come on the same page. So I think what's like having all these amazing co-founders together and bringing them on the same page is essentially what's the most important part. And sometimes even if you are not on the same page, then trusting each other and coming in line is also something that matters a lot. And thank you so much for sharing that with us, Enrique. So I mean, we both have been a part of the LIF program and this entire journey. My last question with you is going to be related to that. How was your experience within the program, and how do you think it is going to be helping you moving forward in your own journey?
Yeah, since I like learned about the LIF program back in 2018, I believe. Then when I applied, I have the opportunity to go to London to the residential program in 2019 for the LIF-6 cohort. It was like life-changing in many ways because you get to know, and I believe that is what was the best outtake for all the both programs, to get to know other entrepreneurs and to get to validate that you are not alone and you are like making the same mistakes like everyone, and you are learning from them, and others could teach you beforehand you commit those mistakes. And I believe that was one of the key things to really see that we uh, like in Mexico, being neighbors from the biggest country, the biggest like economy in the world, always kind of makes you afraid of the like expectatives, because you are from a like growing economy and you don't have enough resources, so you are afraid that you are going to present like a project that is like I don't know, with less quality. But seeing that our project was up to the to the expectations of the Royal Academy of Engineering, and that yeah, of other projects was really like good for our like spirits and for the motivation of the team. And yeah, getting to learn about the actual business and to how to become really like not a like an academic project or a research projects in, but to become a real startup and a business was the key things in the first part. And after that, in the LIF Advanced, was to really push yourself to really think big, to really think like globally, to see that your solution could help others in other parts of the world, and to start creating those alliances like from the day one is really important, because it takes time to really build those kind of international relationships. So it was great in that term. And I believe that was the biggest outtake, to really see other entrepreneurs, to share with them, and to really see that we are up to the measurement like scale. So I was saying that one of the biggest outtakes from the LIF program was being able to share with other entrepreneurs from the world, like your ideas, your experience, and yeah, to share your mistakes and what you have learned from them. And also to validate that regardless of your origin or your country, there are a lot of talent and ideas that could help to solve world problems. So it was really amazing to see other startups that are solving many problems around the industry, the health sector, the agriculture sector, and any kind of like problem that we have as a society. And finally, really know that there are a lot of people that is going or are willing to help you to grow your project and to really change your mindset from a engineer to really like a startup owner and an entrepreneur. So I think that is what the three big outtakes that I had, to really like understand that we have support from the Royal Academy of Engineering, that we have support from this amazing cohort of over 1,000 engineers and entrepreneurs all over the world. And yeah, that we only need to believe in our idea, in our project, to make it really happen. So yeah, that was the biggest outtakes, Ishan.
Oh, amazing, Enrique. So I guess we are at the end of our podcast, and we'd like to thank all of our viewers who are listening. I hope that you were able to find some learnings in this entire conversation. The kind of work that Enrique is doing within Thermi is amazing, and it's exciting. And we hope that they're able to bring the solution forward and scale much faster, so more women can get through this process easier, and hopefully they expand all across the globe. So with these wishes, thank you so much, Enrique. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
But yeah, all right, I've started the recording, so
yeah, let me just change my name so it appears the same as before. But yeah, only to close, like from the actual like learnings from the LIF Advanced program, and yeah, I believe that only a couple of words more and I will be done.
sure.